I want to talk today about how your desire to find a date actually is self-defeating. It is true that the statistics show that most people who are meeting each other to date today are finding each other online. What they're not telling you about is how the online AI is deciding who you get to see and how you are seen by others. I have a friend who works in cybersecurity who told me that according to the data, the women who are going through the dating apps are looking for two things in your profile. Number one, they're looking for evidence in your About Me section that you have a significant amount of money. And secondly, they look at your first picture to see if you are sufficiently attractive. And if those two don't meet, then they don't look at you, which means that most men are swiped left on without anyone knowing anything about who they are as a person. Now, this is an artificial way of picking people where we choose them exclusively based on how they look. In the real world, as I was telling a student yesterday, you can spend time getting to know people and they get to know you and they will give you a second chance. In the internet, where you're not actually meeting them and you don't even know they've seen your profile, you don't usually get a second chance. And so you get maybe 15 to 30 seconds to wow them before they move on. This is true for men too, but men will look at other things in a profile. I know for myself, when I was using online dating, there were women who met those criteria, and then I would look further and then exclude other women based on attitudes and behaviors that were evident in the rest of their profile that I found particularly off-putting. So being attractive was not the deciding factor for me. Here's the problem with how the AI works. The AI doesn't know anything about you. It doesn't know anything about the people who are looking at you. It only knows about how your profile is treated. So over time, these artificial intelligence selection paradigms learn how valuable you are in the dating market based on how your profile is received. So you think that by extending your range to a wider area or to a larger age bracket that you are expanding your potential. All you are actually doing is expanding the number of people that you swipe on who don't swipe back on you, not necessarily because they reject you, but because their selection criteria exclude you. Because the AI reads a profile as desirable based on the ratio of people that like your profile versus the number of profiles that you like. So actually the best strategy on a dating profile is to swipe on no one except those who swipe on you first. Women don't have this because most women are swiped on by men because there are men who are looking for only the night and not for a relationship. And so women get a larger ratio of people who like their profiles to those that they like. Women are also, according to the data, only swiping on average, about 10% of male profiles. And so they can swipe on even if they're not swiped on as much, the ratio is much smaller. Some men believe that they should swipe on everyone and that will increase their odds. It actually makes you look desperate to the AI because you have all of these people you've swiped and this tiny, tiny fraction that may have swiped back on you, which that mathematically shows undesirable candidate. And then you are moved into different protocols where the profiles that you are shown reflect how undesirable you actually are. So let me show you something real quick. So these are some screenshots I pulled from one of the dating websites that shows this as a compatible candidate. Now this picture is a very off-putting picture, but basically based on the way I'm behaving and the way I'm perceived, it views me as uncompatible and then matches me against other profiles that are perceived as uncompatible or undesirable. So this person, no dig on them, is probably, for reasons you can see from the photo, despite her potential good looks, being swiped on as if she was undesirable. Here's another one. You can see there's a consistency in her photos, and even this one says, "You should not go out with me if you are traditional and you believe the woman does everything" type. So this woman is excluding the very kinds of men in her profile who will actually make good husbands by putting that in her profile with a septum ring and the weird facial expressions. Oh, and then her first picture is a cartoonized version of herself. So what she's done is even if you think she's attractive, there are men who see those as red flags, and if they're not willing to put up with her for the night, just for the night, they're left swiping on her. That moves her down the list, even if she's attractive, to a lower pool. And now the AI thinks that because I don't have very many people who swipe on me for perhaps obvious reasons, that they're equally desirable. Okay, because there's nothing about that woman that makes her compatible to me. Nothing. She's more or less, well, she's not exactly the complete opposite, but I'm more likely to match with a jar of peanut butter than I am with her. Okay, we have more in common, and I like peanut butter. I don't like her. So this is what's happening: is you are telling the AI that you find more women acceptable than women find you acceptable. This makes you perceived mathematically as an undesirable candidate. Whereas if you are swiping only on the profiles that swipe on you, you are at least as desirable as you find other women desirable. So actually the best strategy is to swipe on no one. And just put your profile out there and let people find it. Because that will put them into your like pool, and then you can pick from them. And then you can come across as perceptively one of the most desirable candidates, because you actually might match with some of them that have already liked you. And that means that there are people who like you and you like them, where that's a successful match. The AI is retarded. Okay, the AI measures mathematical probability. And based on the probability, the number of swipes you do increases the number of samples, which means in order to be perceived as desirable, you have to have a lot of people like you back. This is why some women are presented to you and you look at and go, what the hell is this woman presented to me? Because there are so many men who are swiping on her, even if she's physically, physiologically, psychologically, politically, financially, ecumenically, grammatically undesirable, because those men only care about her for the night, that she is moving up because her pools are relatively the same size, where she has a large number of people who are swiping right on her, even though they don't actually want to keep her. That's the big problem with dating sites, is there are two types of people on them. There are people who are looking for a relationship, and there are people who are looking for a hookup. And so the hookup people are biasing the perceived desirability results so that the people who are actually make good candidates are matched up with people who won't. And those people who won't make good candidates are put up further in the paradigm because people are willing to sleep with them for the night. If you are looking at online dating, it's how people meet. Of course, I tried online dating for 4 years and went on 0 dates. That's because the only people who were willing to date me, and you can read about this in my upcoming book, were people that were not actually interested in a long-time relationship with me, and that's why I was there, was for a relationship, not a situationship. And so I went on 0 dates. Or they were like so far away, I'm like, why? Although they were here when I swiped on them, and then they went home, and they're like, yeah, you can come visit me. And I'm like, I'm not flying 340 miles to take you on a date. But I fell into the same trap. You want to increase your odds. You want to get yourself out there. So you expand the age range you're willing to do. You expand your tolerance for other things, and you will swipe right on people you would have otherwise swiped left on. You expand your range, distance you're willing to consider. All you've done is increase the sample size of people who are going to reject you. Not because they necessarily swipe left, but because they may never even see your profile. A woman who has an age range of 20 to 25 is never going to see my profile. A woman who's only willing to go 5 miles from her home is only going to see my profile if she lives 5 miles from me. And so I may swipe on her. She never even sees that I exist. And I see this on the apps. There's another app. I'm going to show you this one real quick. Hold on. All right, sorry, I had to download it so I could look at this. So this one shows where the people live that have liked you. Okay. So if you look at this, it shows down at the bottom where they live. And I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom of the ones it will show you. So, and let's see, how many does it let me see at a time? 4, 8, 12. So, okay, so it only shows you the 20 closest people to you. So this is 17, 18, and 19, and 20 people that are close to me. Calgary, Canada, Alberta, Canada. One of them's in Texas. The other one is in Hidalgo, Mexico. There are only 16 people who live closer to me than those people who have swiped right on me already, which means that these people are so far away that I would never have considered them, never swiped on their profiles. Oh, and I got a message once from a girl who was in the Philippines. And I'm like, I'm not going to the Philippines to meet you. I don't care. I don't care if you're the best person on the planet. I am not going to spend that kind of money to meet you because she's not spending any money to meet me. Okay? She's not going to do anything special to make an effort. I'm going to have to make all of the effort. Fly to the Philippines, court her, do the paperwork, bring her here, and then pay for everything when she gets here. I'm not going to go to that level of effort. So the best thing to do on a dating app is wait. And I know that's not how you want to do it. I know you want to find somebody, and I get it. They are self-defeating prophecies for men and self-licking ice cream cones for women that gives them artificial validation and gives you an artificial perception that you are undesirable. Because if I look through the profiles, I'm not going to pull that back up again because I don't care. Most of them are older than me and overweight, more than I am, okay? I'm a little overweight, but they're more overweight than I am. And so they're not people who are making good choices. They've waited too long to marry because I don't want an older woman. The only reason to marry is to have kids. And they're not taking good care of themselves, so why would they be able to take care of me well or our kids well? Because, like it or not, most of the nurturing care and the example that kids pick up from is their mother. So if the mother is making bad choices, they're going to mirror that behavior. So if you want to date online, make a profile and then let the women come to you. And then you pick from those that like you. There are only 3 strategies that work in dating. Number 1, you can become what women want and then compete with other men who are also highly desirable. It gets you on the radar, but the competition is stiff. You can become what you want and pick from the women who like you. That's the one I recommend because then you're being true to yourself and you're not perpetrating a lie and the person that actually picks you might actually like you. Or you can just do what you want and if they come, they come, and if not, it's okay. That's the one Marcus Aurelius would recommend that you live. You can read about that in Meditations if you care. But online dating, your best strategy is actually to swipe on only those profiles that swipe on you. That's how women do it. And I think it's the only way to win. Anyway, that's my take on it. If you have found success on there, I congratulate you. I think it's a mixed bag. For those of you who are living happy lives, I had a student 11 years ago. She met her husband on Tinder. I hope that Natalia and her husband are still together and happy because no one is benefited when any relationship ends unless that relationship was toxic from the get-go. So I hope they're happy. I hope they're still in love, and I hope that they live happily after happily. And you too, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, I wish you every happiness and joy that this world has to offer. Godspeed. Goodbye.